Yo guys, welcome back to King Ols. I'm now here for my Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou full card predictions now for you guys. My hair's looking like a real mess in this video, bloody hell. But yeah, we're here for the full card predictions for Knockout Chaos. Joshua versus Ngannou, the full card. I'm looking forward to this one, to be fair. It's going to be an interesting one. Next Friday, we're a week away from this event. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to go through the whole card here, got it up on Tapology. I've only just realised I've done boxing on Tapology. But yeah, anyway, here we go. So we have first got Mayu versus Christian Lopez Flores. I mean, again, journeyman versus Mayu. I mean, he'll win this fight. He's up against a journeyman. I'm gonna say he probably wins a decision here. Sorry if I can't say his name right. I probably aren't saying it right at all, but he'll win a decision here. I do think we'll get through these early ones, quicker ones and then we'll go on to the main ones. Okay, we've got Ski versus Torres. I mean, I think that's obvious again. Heavyweight scrap here as well. Interesting one. I think it's obvious who will win this fight, though. 100%. I'm gonna probably say round 5, probably knockout. Then we get to Jack McGann versus Louis Green. Again, Jack McGann's most likely winning this fight. I mean, let's be real. There's predictable fights on this card, if we're being honest. I'll go round 4, Jack McGann. Okay, here we go. So now we're on to Hooney versus Kevin Lorena. I think that this is interesting because obviously Hooney's taking some big, big fights since he's, and he's only just started. I believe he's only 8-0, and Kevin Lorena is an interesting fight in my opinion for him. Obviously, let's be real, Kevin Lorena is mostly known for completely bottling it against Dubois and letting him win the fight against him. Surely that fight was a fix. He literally just let him win. Everything about that, him and Dubois, was fishy. Let's be real, it was. But look, I think this is an interesting one. But I feel like Hooney's all wrong for Kevin Lorena. Hooney's massive compared to him as well. Hooney's massive compared to him. I mean, yes, Lorena can box fairly well. He has got quick hands. He is good if he can get on the inside. He won't get much success here, in my opinion, though, Kevin Lorena. Hooney's winning this fight. 100% he is. I'm going to say Hooney wins this fight inside 3. I feel like Hooney's going to make easy work out of Kevin Lorena, to be fair. I do see Hooney making easy work out of it. And honestly, I don't see it being too difficult for him at all. I don't think it's going to be too difficult for Hooney to get this win, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with him around 3. I feel like it'll just be easy for him to pick his shots off. He's a much bigger guy. He's got really quick hands as well. Moves around really well. He can work out. I feel like he'll just prove to be too much for Kevin Lorena. Okay, next up, we've got Gwyn versus Mark Chamberlain. Interesting fight, especially for the British boxing audience as well here. Gwyn, he was up against a 47-year-old in his last one, struggled. But to be fair though, he did struggle in his last one, but usually he is looking pretty good. Good boxer, times himself well, got good footwork. He's a good talent, Gwyn, to be honest with you. He is, covers up well. But then you've got Mark Chamberlain, who just a very good all-round boxer. He's a very good boxer, picks his shots well, good with the jab, moves around well, and, can create angles as well, and sets up his big power shots. He's a good, powerful puncher as well, Mark Chamberlain, as we know. I think this one's a really interesting fight, to be honest with you. I do. But I feel like Mark Chamberlain is going to end up being able to outwork Gwyn. I honestly think that Mark Chamberlain is going to end up being a bit too much for him. He's going to outwork him. He's going to be able to break him down. He's going to be going to the body. He's going to get that jab going up top. And he's slowly going to be breaking him down. We're going to see some big body shots from Mark Chamberlain. And yeah, I feel like Mark Chamberlain is going to be able to bully Gavin Gwyn a lot as well. I mean, let's have a look at the odds as well here, actually. Let's have a look at the odds. I mean, so he's a slight favourite, but I mean, you know, they're both unbeaten in their last fight. But no, I feel like Gavin Gwyn got lucky in his last one. And Mark Chamberlain hasn't really shown too many flaws in this game either. Gavin Gwyn has. I'm going to be going with Mark Chamberlain to win this fight, and I think he will end up stopping Gavin Gwyn. It's 10 rounds. I'm going to say he stops him in the 8th. Round 7 or 8, but I'm going to go 8. Mark Chamberlain ends up guessing Gavin Gwyn out of there. If it goes the distance, it wouldn't surprise me, but I know, I see Mark Chamberlain getting another knockout. Honestly, I do. Probably stoppage, though. Anyway, next up, we've got Madrimov versus Kurbanov. Again, this is an interesting fight. Let's have a look at tail of the tape. I mean, yeah, Madrimov's obviously the favourite here, to be fair, though. But Kurbanov, he's no easy fight at all. He's no easy fight. I feel like it is an interesting one. I am looking forward to this one. I feel like it is a good fight. I feel like Madrimov's the obvious pick here. And I'm not going with the underdog pick here, though. I'm not going with the underdog pick. I feel like Madrimov will win. Kurbanov's a tough guy, though. And he is quite explosive. Does pit combos together well. He's the more experienced guy than Madrimov as well. But Madrimov's been looking really good in his fights, though. He's been looking good. He's entertaining to watch. And it is an interesting one. But I do think Madrimov will win this fight. But I do think Kurbanov's going to be a really tough guy for him to get out of there, though. So I'm going to go with a Madrimov decision. And I do feel like Kurbanov will be able to pick up a few rounds, though. I do. 12 rounds. I feel like Kurbanov could make this fight close. I do think he could make this fight close. I am going with a Madrimov win, though. But it is tougher. It is a tough fight for him. It is a tough fight. But I've got to go with Madrimov to win this fight. But again, though, Kurbanov's... I don't see Madrimov losing it. I don't see him losing. But I do see him being brought in. I do see Kurbanov being able to make this fight a war and taking Madrimov into deep waters. I see it going the distance. Next up, we have got Ray Vargas versus Nick Ball. I've been thinking hard with this prediction here. Let's have a look at the tape again for this one. Oh, wow. So, Nick Ball's actually the favourite for this fight. Look at the height difference there as well. But to be fair, though, Foster versus Ray Vargas. Let's be real. Foster, as the much smaller guy than Ray Vargas, was completely able to outbox him. But I do think, Foster, he is a few levels above Nick Ball. And I have watched a lot of Nick Ball. And as much as I rate him, and I think he's a fantastic fighter, he's not fought someone on the level of Ray Vargas just yet. And, in his last fight against Dogbe, I think that's how you say his name, Dogbe. In his last fight against Dogbe, you've got TNT Sport posting, dominant win from Nick Ball. Wasn't dominant at all. He was taken into deep waters there. He did struggle. If he fights like that against Ray Vargas, I think he loses. Ray Vargas is ridiculously quick with his hands. I do think, Nick Ball is quick in and out of there, but Ray Vargas is very good at managing his distance. He's very good at managing the distance. And I don't see Nick Ball being able to get him out of there. But I feel like Nick Ball will be able to get the odd bit of success. But he'll get broken down as the fight goes on. And I do feel like Ray Vargas will actually make this one look fairly dominant in his favor. So I do think Ray Vargas will win this fight, and I don't actually think it'll be too difficult for him either. I don't get how Nick Ball's the favourite going into this fight, but he is. I don't get how he is the favourite. Vargas has been in there with much tougher competition, proving himself at a higher level. And, we know where his skill level's at. Nick Ball, a good thing about Nick Ball is his unpredictability coming into this fight. But No. When Vargas gets going with those quick hands, I feel like Nick Ball's going to be in trouble. I feel like he's going to be able to put, I feel like Vargas will be able to put Nick Ball into trouble. So I feel like we're going to see a round 6 finish for Ray Vargas here. And then Nick Ball's going to have to rebuild himself. But I don't think it'll be too difficult for him. I don't think it'll be too difficult for Ray Vargas to get him out of there. He'll break him down. I reckon Nick Ball will have like the odd moment where, you know, he'll get people excited in one of like the first 2 rounds where he lands some good shots and then people will think, oh, Ray Vargas is hurt here and it looks like it's going to be Nick Ball's way. But no, we end up with Ray Vargas eventually taking control and he'll eventually get Nick Ball out of there. Okay. Oh, no. So now we're at the really tough one where I actually don't know who's going to win this fight. Zhilei Zhang versus Joseph Parker. I actually don't know who's going to win this fight. I still don't know. I've been watching them, both highlights of them, going through them, trying to get a prediction for this fight, but I still don't know. I'm going to talk about it out loud and see if my mind changes. Zhilei Zhang. Obviously, we look at his last 3 fights especially. Fought Hrgovic in 2022. Fought Joyce twice in 2023. If you compare Hrgovic and Joe Joyce to Joseph Parker, they're 2 completely different fighters. Joseph Parker's not going to stand there and happily take a few shots to try and get to where he wants to be. He's not. Parker's going to be moving around a lot. And we saw against Wilder from what Joseph Parker was able to do. He shuts down that gap really, really well. And he's going to have to do that again against Zhilei Zhang. But it's going to be tougher for Parker to close the gap against Jang when Zhang's a really good combination puncher. And you look at Wilder and think, oh, yeah, he's only got the right hand. Wilder doesn't put his combinations together as well as Zhang does. He doesn't. But with Zhang, yes, Zhang can manages the distance really, really well. And Parker closes the distance really, really well. That's why it's an interesting fight. But we look at Zhang's last couple of fights, and it's like, he was able to manage the distance well against Hrgovic and Joyce. But Parker's not going to be stood there like them. Parker's going to be trying to create angles and close that gap and be aggressive. I do feel like Parker's going to try and approach it. Not the exact same, but I feel like he'll have a similar approach to how he approached that Deontay Wilder fight. I feel like that's what he needs to do. I feel like Zhang's going to look to try and keep him at range and just try and pick his shots off and put his combos together well. Parker, when he was aggressive against Wilder, he had me on the edge of my seat, though, because it was like, if someone puts their combos together well, Parker could get caught with a big one here. And if someone actually can set the shots up well and manage the distance well and keep you off them, then Parker could be in trouble. I don't know. But again, no, Parker closed that distance against Wilder ridiculously well. But it will be harder against Jang to do so. I feel like Parker will be doing well. And I want Parker to win. He's just such a likable guy who just deserves to do well. But I'm rooting for Parker. But I have a feeling he's going to be doing really well in this fight. But I feel like Jang will do it. I don't know why, because I know I've been slightly edging to Parker, but now I'm thinking Zhang wins this fight. Honestly, I think Zhang's got really underrated cardio as well. So Zhang will happily be able to go into the later rounds. I think Zhang wins this fight. I think he catches Parker. I mean, Parker's been doing great work around the league, and he is hard to hit, but he'll eventually get caught when he's coming in and trying to close that distance. He'll eventually get caught by a massive shot by Zhang. Zhang sets his shots up better than Wilder. And he lands his shots ridiculously flush as well. He times his shots so well. And Parker's so good and boxes well. Just does what he needs to do, but he'll get caught eventually, in my opinion. And I feel like it'll be later on. I'm going to say round 9 or something like that. Parker ends up getting caught with a big shot by Zhang and Zhang knocks him out cold. I'd be gutting as well because Parker would be doing really, really well. but I'm going with a round 9 knockout for Jang. I feel like it'll be a brutal one as well. It's a difficult one because I really do think Parker can win, but no, I'm going with Jang. Okay, main event: Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. We're going with Anthony Joshua to win this fight. How does he do it though? Is an interesting question. Obviously, 10 rounds as well. 10 rounds, take that into consideration. Obviously, as well, I mean, we look at Francis Ngannou, and obviously he had a great performance against Fury, timed himself really well, and was good at fighting at a good range as well. But I feel like Joshua's a harder stylistic matchup for Francis Ngannou, and I think that just great spelling of Ngannou, by the way. But I mean, I just feel like Joshua is going to be too much for him, and he's going to be explosive. And yes, I know, like, Francis Ngannou's got a fantastic chin. Yes, he's been hit in the UFC by guys with 4-ounce gloves. Yes, but in the MMA, they don't throw combinations like a boxer does. And Anthony Joshua's speed and explosiveness is going to, I feel like he's going to really shock Francis Ngannou because he didn't get that against Fury. Fury clearly couldn't be asked training, clearly could not be asked, and did not take Ngannou seriously. AJ's now got this footage on Ngannou, and I feel like it could be easier for AJ that now he's got footage of Ngannou. As well, so there's less unpredictability. But yes, you could also make the argument saying, oh yeah, Francis Ngannou is going to have even more confidence coming into this AJ one because of what he was able to do against Fury. And Ngannou's also going, and he's also going to have got better. But Joshua's confidence is going to be sky high after his last performance against Otto Wallin. It's going to be sky high. So Joshua, both guys are coming into it with a lot of confidence. And I just also feel like AJ will be able to outbox Ngannou. Whether Ngannou can land the big shot, I don't know. Ngannou's timing will have to be on point, and it did look like that against Fury. And I do think if Ngannou wants to win this one, he does need to throw more. I do still think he beat Fury, but he could have done even better if he just threw his shot, if he threw more shots. And I feel like that's what he needs to do if he wants to beat AJ. But again, it won't be that easy to beat AJ, though. I mean, AJ is going to be mixing it up really well, and I don't see Ngannou mixing it up, especially to the body, too much. AJ is going to be mixing it up a lot. AJ is going to be much quicker with his movement than Francis Ngannou. I feel like Ngannou, and I feel like a lot of Ngannou's fans, I feel like a lot of, just MMA fans who don't like boxing are going to be extremely surprised here. And I think they're going to be shocked. So I feel like Joshua is going to be able to get a good win. Joshua will be able to outbox Ngannou. He will be able to. Does he get him out of there? Is the question. I honestly am not sure. I think Joshua might actually stop him. I think Joshua will stop him. I'm going to say Joshua... stops him in round 6. I'm going to say Anthony Joshua stops Ngannou in round 6. I feel like his explosiveness would be too much. He'll be backing him up on the ropes. I don't see Ngannou getting knocked down. I just see him getting stops. But I just feel like Joshua is going to be throwing a high punch volume. Ngannou's not going to be throwing too much. And Joshua will be able to close the gap well. And, Ngannou won't be able to beat Joshua to the punch. I feel like, I see Joshua being able to outwork him as well. Joshua will be winning most rounds. I feel like it'll eventually be a matter of time before Joshua stops him. So I'm going with an Anthony Joshua win in round 6. But if it goes the distance, I won't be surprised, but I am going with it. AJ stoppage in round 6. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching this video, King. I'll speak to you in a bit. Thanks for watching. Peace out.